Hello, you're watching Steph and Julia's Eden, and in this video, we update you on how the crops we sowed directly outside did in our suburban backyard. We show you how our radishes, snow peas, scarlet runner beans, beets, leafy greens, and corn did. I take you on a journey, making a salad from the garden. We also visit an apple orchard and make homemade applesauce. And we share with you our favorite recipe for beets and how we like to pickle our radishes. I'll even take you all the way to Poland and Italy, where we visited a vineyard, and my grandma's home, where my relatives have their own Polish homestead in a rural Polish village. We hope these places inspire you to build your own homestead into an amazing place to nourish your body and soul and your family, no matter where you live. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Harvested our first radish. She's not big. They don't grow huge. Not in our gardens, but they taste very good.
Here is an update on our radishes and peas. A bunch of the radishes are starting to come up. As you can see, there's one coming up red, another one just there, another one there. And that gap there is the radish we just pulled that Stefan showed you. Our peas are back here. They're doing well. We recently trellised them on sticks. In the middle row, we are supposed to be having some carrots come up, but they can take a really long time to germinate. So hopefully we'll see some soon. Meanwhile, our kale, lettuce, and onions are doing phenomenally here in our shady plot behind the shed. So kale in the back, we have red lettuce in most of these rows, green lettuce up front, and back here, you'll recall we planted a wide range of onions, multiplier onion, red onion, and yellow onion, I believe. The green tops, though, for now, can all be harvested as a type of green onion. And that way you can get a real nice salad, especially radishes, are of course a root vegetable. Then I like to dry my salad. I just put it on some paper towel. And this is where I can really get selective about which items I'm gonna put in my salad. Once I've really chopped up the salad, I like to throw the viola on top with the radishes. And now we're gonna make the dressing. Stefan is removing dandelions from our blueberry bush. We've been duped. We thought the green foliage was part of the blueberry, but it is a weed. It's very difficult to get out. Yeah, it's like in the stem. Is still green and
it's probably stealing all the nutrients from it too.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive that it's still alive. This raised bed is a little bit of a mess. It's got a bunch of radishes that some of them never really fully developed and are now bolting. Like these, this was I think our dragon radish or something like that, a watermelon radish. Yeah, it's unfortunately we didn't get any and now it's starting to bolt. So I'm not sure what we did wrong, but we'll need to look into that. But some of our other radishes did grow big and were absolutely delicious. And then our peas at the back, we trellised some time ago, but they've grown so big that they need to be trellised again. And in the middle, you'll remember we planted some carrots. We don't really see them coming up much yet, but there's a couple things coming up that might be a carrot. So we'll see what happens with those. Finished product. Our snow peas nicely trellised upwards on the fence. This will leave a lot more room for our radishes and carrots to come up. We will now take you on a journey to Poland, to a little village where my grandmother and my aunt live. My cousin has worked hard with both of them to build and maintain a beautiful garden on this property in a little rural village in Poland.
Gosi.
Jaka to jest?
Tak jakby będzie uprawiało pole.
Here is their orchard. Little fruit and nut trees all around the property. Some are gonna have pears, some are apples, hazelnuts, cherries. I tutaj
Winogrona. Na wino.
wszystko.
Na wino.
Wszystkie 4.
Tak, rzędy.
Wow. Czy będziesz sprzedawać te wino? Tylko
Jak
dawać?
się uda zrobić, to tam nie wiem ile tego wyjdzie.
Hi, Bourbon. We have pumpkins and dill. These are all tomatoes. Harder in the greenhouse. And then more rows of grapes. The tomatoes in the greenhouse are already ready. After touring the garden, my grandma even taught me how to make authentic Polish pierogi, baked goods, and Polish beet soup. Babcia robi ciasto na pierogi. To ile mleka dodałaś? Ile jajka?
2 jajka,
I trochę wody.
troszkę mleka, troszkę wody, żeby było takie ciasto nie za suche, nie za tego.
Their garden is producing a huge amount of food for my family, including huge tomatoes, fruit, nuts, and loads of homegrown organic vegetables. While passing through Warsaw, I also visited my aunt. She is the wife of world sushi champion Alon Tan. You heard that right. The world sushi champion lives in Poland, of all places. While I was staying with them, my aunt showed me how to make pickles with organic cucumbers and dill. It was a lot of fun canning all these cucumbers with her. I think she'll have more than enough to get her family through the winter. If you want this exact recipe for how we made these pickles, check out our Instagram page in the stories section under preservation. And if you're ever in Warsaw, check out Izumi Sushi for the best sushi in the world. That is right, and it is not an exaggeration. You will love the food and your time there. After visiting Poland, I stopped by Italy to visit another cousin of mine. While there, we drove by so many amazing vineyards, producing grapes as far as the eye can see. It was absolutely inspiring to see how huge these vineyards are and just how many grapes they are growing in very mountainous parts of Italy where it is difficult for any machines to get through. Many of these vineyards spend days picking their grapes by hand to make delicious wines that are shipped all around the world. When I returned from my trip to Europe, it was apple picking season in Canada. So Stefan and I visited a local pick-your-own farm in our area. They had loads of apple trees, as well as a huge field of strawberries, and a farmer's market, where we did a major farmer's market haul, shown here. From that visit, we decided to make homemade applesauce with the apples we picked. We'll also show you how we pickled the radishes we purchased at the farmer's market.
At our 10-acre property, we actually plan on growing our own little orchard with our mini trees. Apples are good, they're nutritious, but they are seasonal. One way of preserving them, we make applesauce out of them. And by doing that, I take about 5 pounds of the apples I collected. I'm going to peel every single one of them. Oh, so once they're all peeled, we're gonna quarter them around the core, and then you're gonna dice them. I was gonna use my big, awesome chef's knife, but then Julia pulls out this puppy, and she says, "We've had this all along. What are you talking about? It cores apples for you." So I tried it, and we are gonna save a significant amount of time by doing it this way. All right, now you gotta dice them even more. And then Julia says, "No, put your knife away. Our onion slicer is gonna work just fine." The trick is just to get them to a small enough piece they're manageable when you're cooking them in liquid. Okay, very good. I put them straight on the stove, on high. These apples are gonna cook for half an hour. I put almost 2 cups of water in there. Half a cup of lemon juice. We'll see, I might have to put a little bit more water in there. All right, 25 minutes in, I think we're ready. Went by a little faster than I thought, but you know it's ready because you can smell the cooked apples. It smells sweet. Turned off the temperature. Give it a good mix around here. In this case, I'm gonna blend it using my immersion blender. Okay, so I'm going to step this up by putting a couple tablespoons of stevia, which is a natural sweetener that doesn't have any of the calories. It's pretty sweet, so I'll only put a little bit. And then half a tablespoon of cinnamon. This will be 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we always keep the jars from pasta, sauces, jams. We sanitize them because we put all the things we're preserving in them. Preservation of your harvest. We have here radishes. Now, the radishes we harvested from our own garden, we ate already. These ones we got at a farmer's market. They're nice and fresh. Today, I'll just show you real quick how I pickle and preserve our radishes. So these long types, I cut them in half. By the way, they've already been rinsed and washed. Radishes are extremely nutritious. You can preserve them for a couple of months actually using this method. So now, they were clean, they were washed. I cut them all in half. I'm using these nice mason jars and I sanitize them. I want to leave some space in there because I need to put the solution in, which is the water and apple cider vinegar, the pickling juice, basically, and a couple of extra flavoring items. First off, freshly cut onion. I put about half an onion. In this case, I don't have that much. It's a little more than a quarter onion. 2 whole, fresh, and peeled cloves of garlic on top. From our garden, directly from our garden, fresh hot peppers. These ones, I literally just went outside and picked these out here. Hot serrano peppers they are. I cut them small pieces. They will be hot. They'll add that extra nice heat. I'm also gonna add a little bit of ginger in there. You can actually put whatever you want. I find a ginger with those other ingredients just adds that final flavor that I like. Here, take a look at that beauty. Pickling juice. I add 1 cup of filtered water. Just any water that's been dechlorinized, because chlorine actually kills some of that bacteria and stuff like that that's crucial to the pickling process. Next up, you can use any kind of vinegar. I use apple cider vinegar. I prefer the taste of it. And you're gonna put in equal parts that you did water. Now you can literally season it with whatever you want. It needs a lot of salt. What I use is pickling salt. It doesn't have the iodine. See, regular salt, they add iodine in there because a lot of people, I guess, are iodine deficient. But it has a component in there that stops some of the pickling process. So pickling salt. I'm gonna put a few tablespoons of this. It does seem like a lot, but you do need to actually put a lot, we found. Last bit of seasoning I put in, just a simple ground pepper. So you can put whatever seasoning you want in this, depending on how you want it to taste. We just do these straight up salt and pepper. Salt, pepper, 1 part water, 1 part a form of vinegar. Now I'm gonna go to the stove. I'm gonna bring this to a boil for a few minutes. It's gonna boil I'm gonna leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then we're gonna add it to our pickling substance. Just to add our special touch, from our herb video, we grew fennel. Over the course of a few months, now we're at the end of the season, we collected the fennel seeds. And we're actually going to, as a bonus, just throw some of our fennel seeds into our pickling substance, our radishes. Okay, so she's been boiling now for about 10 minutes. You'll notice it's got an extremely strong smell. It's very, very, very vinegary, very sour. I'll pour it straight in here. The trick, what I'm gonna do, is to have every single one of your components in here fully submerged. I bring it up to the rim. See, that does it nicely. Now, this is boiling hot. I'm gonna put the cap on just like that to stop things from falling in, but I'm not gonna close it sealed because of the pressure change. I'm actually gonna leave this out for about 2 hours until it gets room temperature, and then I'll put it in the fridge. And then it can keep for a couple months, so that's how we preserve our radishes. Scarlet runner bean, we do this one every year. We love it. Extremely ornamental. We love the flowers it makes, the scarlet flowers.
Our scarlet runner bean was doing super well and looking so beautiful. It was attracting a range of pollinators, and we absolutely loved it. We plan to continue growing it every year. Unfortunately for our bean, a storm came through one day and knocked it over, pulling all the beans out of the ground. Not surprisingly, this killed all of our scarlet runner beans, but we will definitely grow it again next year.
So down here we got beets. These beets have been amazing. They taste phenomenal. They've got a very rich flavor to them, almost like a garden carrot. So here's a nice beet. Lots of recipes you can do with them. They actually taste great on their own, cut up and washed. No salt or seasoning needed. So Julia, being from Poland, will actually be trying borscht soup. We're big fans of soup, making soups with tomato bisque, and we'll be making a nice borscht with these beets.
With the beets we grew, we decided to make Polish beet soup, known as barszczt. It is a well-known Polish soup, popular around special holidays, and absolutely delicious and nutritious. My grandma in Poland also showed me how she likes to make this recipe. After making the broth, you peel and dice some beets, some carrots. You can also use the beet leaves to flavor the broth. After roasting some garlic and onions, you throw your diced beets and carrots in, followed by the vegetable broth. For added flavor, dill seeds are a great touch. And parsley is also a great garnish to finish off this delicious soup. Although it's not the traditional way of making it, I personally love the taste of parsley in barszczt. You can also eat barszczt with hard-boiled eggs or with dumplings to add extra substance and protein to the soup.
So as we know, our radishes are quick sprouters. We enjoy having them right out of the gate as soon as we can. But of course, they have now all been harvested, eaten, or they've bolted and not germinated correctly. As well, our carrots, we have a lot of trouble with carrots. They take forever and there's a very low success rate for some reason in our garden. Still figuring that out. I'm going to re-sow carrots in the middle lane and new radishes, simply to replace the ones we've already harvested. Just an example of radishes that have bolted and didn't germinate properly, not creating the root that we want, the root that you can eat. See, this is about what it looks like. So these are the ones that didn't make it. I'm pulling them out, putting in a full, fresh, new harvest, ready to go.
Snap peas have done very well, all things considered. They were rather neglected.
Snap peas. They're extremely fragile. I broke a bunch.
If you have seen our herb starting series, you know we finished the series by collecting seeds from our garden. In the process, we also collected seeds from our snow peas to preserve the seeds over winter and plant them again next spring. This is a great way to continue growing your food sustainably without having to go out and buy seeds again every year. Harvesting your own seeds also typically retains the genetics of the plant that has done well in your area. So over time, your plants should continue to do even better year after year if you continue to harvest the seeds from your best crops. This is our lettuce that has bolted. And so, let's see if I can show you guys that. Yeah. And actually, if you just take one of these seed pods, crush it in your hand, it is full of seeds. Hi, Bridget. I'm just going to collect the rest of these seed pods and preserve them for the next time we want to plant some lettuce.
Not incredibly impressive for our first year growing corn. Once we move to the farm, let's try and make it better. Corn stubs don't look that bad though. Lack of color. I'm gonna have to learn a bit more about corn.
We hope you enjoyed this video. You can also check us out on Instagram and TikTok to see sneak peeks and highlights from our journey. Now that we have moved to our 10-acre farm, there are endless ideas for what we could do next with it. We will be posting brainstorming ideas for our farm and for our future content on our Twitter page. If you want to be part of deciding what we share next on the YouTube channel, you'll definitely want to engage with us on Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, you may also like our tomato and pepper series, which takes viewers through several videos where we show how we planted our tomatoes, peppers, and other heat-loving plants from seed to kitchen. You can check out that series right here. Thanks for watching!